There it is right there. Juice is back. But why? That, of course, is Kyle Juszczyk, longtime fullback and fan favorite of the 49ers. And in the right-hand corner, you can see that's Luke Ferrell, who the 49ers spent $20.25 million on over 3 years, and he is purely a blocker. So why did the 49ers, who were cold and calculated this offseason, go from cold and calculated to warm and fuzzy when it came to Kyle Juszczyk? Now, I've got a piece up right now at JNL&Unleashed.com that's got all the numbers, and it's really deep, but I want to just give you a little bit of a preview of it, and then you can go to JNL&Unleashed.com, go to the blog, and read all about it. I love Kyle Juszczyk. You love Kyle Juszczyk, and that's why he's back, because of the backlash that the 49ers got for this horrendous offseason that they have had, and I've explained it away, and I think you understand why they did what they did. It was a financial reset or whatever it is you want to call it. But they released Kyle Juszczyk the first time, and they had already replaced him with Luke Ferrell, the biggest outside signing of the 49ers offseason at 3 years and $20.25 million. About 80% of the NFL uses a move tight end as a fullback and a move guy, especially in short yardage situations. And that was the direction that the 49ers were going to go in. Just go to the website. Here's the piece right here at JNL&Unleashed.com. 49ers brought back Juszczyk for one reason, and it wasn't football. And as I said, it was to quell the storm, at least from a business standpoint. They were all business this offseason, and they were business again with Kyle Juszczyk. In other words, it had to be season ticket holders. Maybe it was big-time sponsors saying, hey, what the hell are you doing? So what do? You bring Kyle Juszczyk back. He's a best friend of everybody. Everybody loves him. I love him. You love him. Media loves him. Players love him. Locker room. He's a leader. He's best friends with George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. But from a football standpoint, it doesn't make sense. Now, as I point out right there under the Juszczyk part of the piece at JNL&Unleashed.com, he was only on the field for 49.7% of the snaps, 537 of 1,030 or 1,079, 5 runs, 19 receptions, 12 additional incomplete targets. So he was involved in 36 plays with the ball for a total of 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's 3% of the total plays he had the ball in his hand, and 3% of the total yards for their offense, 219 of 6,397. But it's not his fault. He actually did run 245 pass routes, and he was only targeted 31 times, or 13% of the time. So he's on the field sometimes, but even when he is, they're not going to throw him the ball. And when you and I have both seen him with his left hand up running down the sidelines wide open, and they just don't throw it to him. So, okay, he's a fullback. He blocks, right? He's a average pass blocker, in which, by the way, he was only asked to do that 48 times last year. He ran routes on the other time, so he's not a pass blocker, really. He doesn't stand to block a lot. And as far as his run blocking grade, you can see in there in Pro Football Focus that he's a 69.7, which is below average. Think of 70 as a C, so he's below average in that regard. You see the formations that they ran, so the 49ers don't run a lot of two-back formations anyway. And then it comes down to, for me, Luke Ferrell at 3 years and $20.25 million. And as you can see at JNL&Unleashed.com, career high in targets at 17, career high in receptions last year at 12. They only had 67 receiving yards, and he's waiting to score his first touchdown in the league. He's going into his 5th year, so he is what he is, which is second tight end type, a move tight end. Played 390 snaps of the 1,025 for the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, 38%. In 4 seasons, only 36 catches. Last year, 289 of his 390 snaps, 74%, were blocking. So he's a blocking tight end. Had a pass blocking rate of 82.6, which is far above average. In fact, second in the league. Needs to get better as a run blocker, but clearly what the 49ers were thinking, and let me go back up here for just a second. There are only 8 total fullbacks in the league. But as you can see right there, an amount of plays, and there's Juice at 537. There's Patrick Ricard of the Ravens at 495. Outside of that, nobody really plays a whole heck of a lot of snaps. And Buffalo and Denver, really, their fullbacks are special teams guys. So only 6 of the 32 teams actually employ a fullback, and the 49ers, giving their cost-cutting ways, we're going to be one of those teams. So 26 of the 32 teams, but they brought back Kyle Juszczyk. And then I finish up saying that, hey, Juszczyk is not going to cost much. I get it. But as I point out at the bottom there, this offseason was as much about purging the old, Juszczyk's 33 and Ferrell is 27, as it was clearing the books. And I finally at the end say his double-take return was not football. They already had him replaced. This was business, like they've done all offseason. Throw the angry fans and sponsors a bone, because everybody loves Juice. I'm not ripping Juice. It's just he's either not on the field, or the 49ers aren't playing him or giving the ball or doing anything with him when he's on the field. So I love Juice. You love Juice. But the only reason Kyle Juszczyk is a member of the 49ers is off the field. They wanted to try to throw the fans a bone. Kyle's great. Media loves Kyle. I love Kyle. You love Kyle. Players love Kyle. But Kyle Juszczyk is redundant with the signing of Luke Ferrell. For the entire story on why Kyle Juszczyk is back as a winner and why they did it for non-football reasons, just go to JohnLundUnleashed.com.